actually work on this now. John Bon Jovial, you want to add something?
Yeah, just a question. Who's playing the guitar on that cut?
That's Eric Simpson.
Well, he's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
We've done a lot of different projects together in the past.
Well, the boy can pick. I mean, there's no question about that. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm getting the impression that Don has a pretty good ear for talent, because the musicians he's put together. Ann, who is still with us, is a tremendously talented vocalist. Ann, give us your view, since you're a part of the one group and a listener to the other group. Give us your feelings, what you're feeling in the comparison of the two.
Well, what I noticed right away is that his music from 30 years ago is timeless. I mean, it still sounds amazing today. It still fits in. It's going to compete with any other bands out there right now. I really think that. And I also like, again, they've got a female vocalist, which I don't know if they've ever used just solely a male vocalist, which I find interesting. But Eric was
actually we have, Ann,
right?
on this song within Gothic Towers.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, so I have to listen to more of it. I know
right.
Eric has sung on it, right?
Right, but there's also another singer.
Okay.
Yes.
But what I do like is, there are some bands that they just will not have a female singer in it. They just,
right.
Nope. So that's what I like about Don and Gary. They're really open to having both, not just a male singer or not just a female singer too, right? But also,
and I'm really excited about the fact.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the fact that we've already turned on a new listener to this music who wants to go back and listen to some of the stuff from years past. So I consider the show a success right now. And I agree. I agree with you, Ann, 100%. The music is timeless, and I think I think that's what I was alluding to when I said that this is something that can be looked at back on 50 years from now, a century from now, as classic rock and roll. And Don, I hope you do get to do your musical, because from what I've heard here today, and of course the other tracks that I got to listen to, thank you very much for sharing. I think you've definitely got a direction. You know what you're doing, and you've got an ear and a feel for timeless music that does blend. It doesn't necessarily cross genres. It blends the genres and brings them together. The classical, the touch of operatic, and of course the rock. And I'm really, really impressed with what you've done.
Thank you. I also have to give credit to all the other musicians that have played on the albums, including Ann, who's brilliant herself, and everybody else that we've had along the way to contribute to the different songs that we've done.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a really strong entourage backing you up there, and I think that goes back to what I mentioned about the fact that you have an ear for talent as well as an ear for the music. You've put together a great package. I have been fortunate enough to listen to some of the other tracks, and I encourage my audience to go out and check out both of these groups within Gothic Towers and Dream Aria and listen to their music. It is something that you want to get a copy and put in your library. This is not something you'd go online and just listen to occasionally. This is something you're going to want to have in your library. And I thank you folks so much for coming by, sharing your time and stories with us here, and your musical vision as well. I wish you all the very best, and I hope you make this music heard around the world every chance you get, every place you can get them to play it, because this is something that I think is very valuable, not only in today's music, but for years to come. And I encourage you, keep in touch with us. Please, love to have you come back on the show and share new music or whatever else you might have happening that that you'd want to share with the rest of the world. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks,
absolute,
Don.
absolute
great.
pleasure.
It really has.
Real quick before you go, I have a page on Facebook too. Actually, I have 2 or 3 of them, but one is the David Bowers Awards. Use that page. It's up there for my guests on the show to post their tour dates, their play dates, their new music, anything you've got to do with your music that you want to spread to people. That's what the page is there for. Keep in touch with me. Let me know what's going on. I want to follow you. Really, truly. Thank you again so much.
Will do.
Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
Ann Burstyn and Don Stagg. The groups are Within Gothic Towers and Dream Aria. This is Within Gothic Towers and a song called I Will Lead You.
Essence of life, come take my hand, and I will deliver you to the promised land. So put your mind at rest, your soul is safe with me, and say a fond farewell, come seek your destiny. And I will lead you far beyond, oh, golden dreams and arms that carry
Within Gothic Towers is the name of the group. And we want to thank Don Stagg and Ann Burstyn for being with us today and previewing both groups, both within Gothic Towers and Dream Aria, and their wonderful creative music. Really a pleasure to have them with us, and something that I think you, the listeners, will get a pleasure out of listening to maybe a second time, which you can do because our show is on demand 24/7. And we thank them for being with us. We thank you, our listeners, and we also thank Mary Perry in Rochester, New York, for underwriting the David Bowers Awards on WRFZ FM 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. John Bon Jovial, I think that about wraps it up, which means it's time for you to take us home.
Yeah, great show today. Interesting music and interesting conversation with our guests. Well, folks, you've done it again. You've spent another perfectly good hour listening to the David Bowers Awards, and we're grateful for it, and we really appreciate it. The David Bowers Awards is broadcast around the world from the studios of Computer Help USA in Naples, Florida, and is available for free on Blog Talk Radio, and also you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa devices, as well as all the other places where you get your favorite downloads of your podcasts. Click the follow link on our Blog Talk Radio page and like The David Bowers on Facebook, and be sure to follow us again on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show and what's going on, and yak with the artists that are going to make it happen for us. Join us next week for the David Bowers Awards, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern on WRFZ-FM 106.3. That's Rochester Free Radio. And on Blog Talk Radio, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. UTC for more great indie music and talk with the folks that make it happen. So until next week, for the David Bowers and Nick the Geek, our wonderful engineer, I am yours truly, the legendary John Bon Jovial, saying, hey, we're going to see you right back here next week on the David Bowers Awards. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week.